Smart people don't automatically build wealth, and for a lot of them, that realization comes late because for most of their life, being smart works. They do well in school, they understand things quickly, they solve problems faster than most people. So naturally, they assume that same pattern is going to apply to money. It doesn't, because wealth does not reward intelligence. It rewards structure, and this is where the disconnect begins. Smart people are very good at optimizing systems, but most of the systems they're given are based on effort. Work harder, be more efficient, be more valuable. So they do exactly that. They become highly capable inside of a system that does not scale. And because they're good at it, they get rewarded. Higher income, more responsibility, more recognition, which reinforces the system, but the system itself never changes. And this is the trap, because the better you get, the more comfortable you become inside a structure that limits you. Most people think intelligence gives you an advantage. It does not. It does in effort-based environments, but wealth is not an effort-based outcome. It's a structural outcome. Structure determines where your money goes, what it builds, and whether it compounds. And if your structure is wrong, no amount of intelligence is going to fix it. You'll just become more efficient at staying stuck. This is why you see people who are extremely smart, earning good money, doing everything right, and still not building real wealth, because they're still trading output for income. And output has a ceiling. There are only so many hours, only so much energy, only so much focus. Even if you improve, you're still inside limits. Wealth begins when you step outside of that system, not by working harder, but by changing what your effort produces. This is where leverage comes in. Leverage is what allows results to scale beyond your time. Without leverage, everything depends on you. With leverage, your results begin to separate from your effort. And there are different forms of leverage. Skills can create leverage. Systems can create leverage. Capital can create leverage. But the most important form is ownership, because ownership turns activity into assets, and assets produce. They generate income. They grow over time. They exist independently of your daily effort. This is where everything changes, because now you're no longer just earning money. You're building something that continues even when you're not working. This is the shift smart people delay. Not because they don't understand it, but because they're still winning in the system they're in. And success inside the wrong system is one of the biggest reasons people never leave it. It feels like progress, but it's controlled progress. It doesn't scale the way ownership does. This is why two people can start in similar positions with similar intelligence and end up in completely different financial situations. One continues to optimize effort, the other transitions into structure. And over time, that difference compounds, because effort scales linearly, but ownership scales exponentially. Early on, that difference is small. It almost feels irrelevant, but over time, it becomes everything. This is why early leverage feels unfair and late leverage feels exponential, because the system starts working for you instead of depending on you. Most people never make this shift, not because they can't, but because nothing forces them to. They're capable, they're earning, they're stable, and stability can quietly replace progress until one day they realize that everything they've built still depends on them showing up. And that's when the pressure shows up, because now time matters more, energy matters more, and the system they relied on starts to feel restrictive, because it is. And this is where that realization happens. That income is not the same as wealth, and intelligence is not the same as structure. Wealth is built when effort is converted into ownership. When income becomes assets, when those assets begin to produce, and when that production continues without requiring your time, that's when the system changes. That's when things start to compound. And that's when financial independence becomes possible. Not because you worked harder, but because you built differently. If you want to understand how wealth actually works, not just how to earn more money, subscribe to this channel.